Okay, let's start it. I'll revise 5 to 10 minutes the yesterday's class. Okay, so what is string? Okay, just I'm revising whatever that we have discussed yesterday. Just 5 to 10 minutes I'm revising. Okay, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. So what is mean by string? Okay, string means it is of like a sequence of characters. Sequence of characters is nothing but we'll call it as a string. Okay, normally in Java we'll represent that string in double quotes. It will be in double quotes. String there is one class is there. It is of derived type one class is there. String class. It is present in java.lang package. It is available. Okay, if you want to create of any string variable, then you can create of like two ways. Okay, one is by using one is by using of a new keyword with some any string value. It is of a sequence of characters. It is of a sequence of characters that I am giving. Okay, so someone is in the lobby. 1 second. Yeah. Now, so to represent that to modifying of the string, any string, okay, Java has provided three classes. One is string and string buffer and string builder. Okay, what is the difference between them? Also, we'll see. If you are creating any string object, if you are creating of any string object, then if you are creating any string class object by using string, okay, it is of only fixed. If you are creating any string object, it is fixed. You can't modify that string object. Even though if you are trying to modify also, it is going to create a new string object. Okay, that it that non-changeable behavior we will call it as a non-changeable behavior. We'll call it as a immutability of string. Okay, now let's go to document. In the same way, string buffer and string builder. Yeah, first is the string class. I created a string class object and I'm trying to modify of a string class object with by adding of by concatenating method. I'm using to add of techno for a string class object. So in that case, it is going to create of a new class object. So that we are not assigning any active reference to that object which it is created. So that without any active reference that we can't access that object. So if you are trying to print out the same value again, yes, it is going to get off only I instead of IBC techno. If you are trying to assign some this new object to some new reference variable, then it will print with IBC techno. Okay, next 1 second. Yeah. Next, so in the same way, we have this is a non-changeable behavior. We can't modify once it is created. So the string buffer and string builder, string buffer and string builder classes. There are two more classes. Okay, there are two more classes. If my requirement is frequently changing the string object, string is frequently changing the string, then we can go for a string buffer class and string builder class. Out of those two again, okay, out of those string builder and string buffer, okay, why do we need for the mutable behavior, why do we need two classes? So then in that case, again there is some difference is there between string buffer and string builder that we will discuss in today at the end of the day. Okay, 1 second. Now calm down. So if I'm creating of a string buffer object, string buffer object. So for the string buffer and string builder object, we can append any data to the existing object. It is going. It will not change any. It won't create any new object. For the existing objects itself, we can modify the content. So it won't create of like string objects. It won't create of any new string object. The existing object itself will be modified. Okay, so this changeable behavior is nothing but mutability. This changeable behavior we call it as a mutability. Both string buffer and string builder both are mutable behaviors. Okay, let's calm down. That what this behavior. Okay. Now next, if I'm creating a if I will take up one more example. So if you're creating the object like this, okay, string s1 equal to new ibc and string s2 is also having ibc, then in that case, okay, internally internally, so it is going to create of two objects. It is going to create of two objects whenever you are creating object like this. One object in the heap memory, another object in the string constant pool. Okay, and whenever you are creating an object by using new operator, always it is going to create an new object in the heap memory, irrespective of whether the object is already with the same content is already available also, it will create a new object in the heap memory. But in case of string constant pool, if you are creating a string object by using string literal means that guy string literal means it is of string s1 equal to, if you are using of if you're using double quotes for creating any object, then we'll creating a object using literal. In this case, the object will be created in string constant pool. Okay, before going to create an object in the string constant pool, okay. So first, the JVM will check is there any object is available with the content IBC in string constant pool. If it is already there, then it won't create a new object. The existing object reference only it will be used by s1 also. Okay, next. And here dot equals method will be referred for the address comparison. So if you're using of new operator means always it is going to create of new address. Okay, so you are even the content is same, but it is giving of return is false because the double equals method is going to refer of address comparison of heap memory. It will compare address comparison. Okay, but if you are using of dot equals method, then it will check the content of the object. Okay, it will check the content of object whether equal or not. If it is equal, then it will return true. Okay, that is the purpose of dot equal and double equals. Okay, double equal will check of address comparison, dot equal will check of content comparison. Okay, next. Even in case of string buffer, and one more thing, the dot equals method is overridden. The dot equals method is overridden in string class. Normally the dot equals method is available in, there are common methods. Okay, for every class there are some common methods. Those methods are available in object class. Okay, so whenever string class is extending object class, okay, that time internally the string class is overrided the implementation of object class equals method. Object class equals method is overridden in string class. So that is the reason whenever you are using dot equals method on top of string, it will compare the content. Okay, but if you are using in case of string buffer or string builder classes, then dot equals method will be called on object class. Dot equals method will be called. So in the object class dot equals method, internally it is comparing of address comparison only. Okay, that is the reason in this case both is giving as false. Okay, that's what the difference. Now, so this one more, let me revise one more minute. Okay, so if you are creating any object like this, then first it will create of two objects. One is in heap memory, other one is in string constant pool. Okay, and that reference is always pointing to heap memory object. Heap memory object. If you are creating any object by using string literal, by using of string literal, then in this case object will be stored in string constant pool always, and there is no duplicate also in case of string constant pool. If you are creating any object, if you are creating any object with some content, okay, first JVM will check. JVM will not blindly, it will not create any object. So if it is a string literal object means first it will check with IBC content, is there any object is already available in the string constant pool. If it is already there, then it won't create any new object. It will reuse the existing object only. Okay, but in case of if you are using new string means blindly JVM will create a new object in the heap memory, even though with the same content, if already some other object is available also, it doesn't matter. If it will create new object always blindly. Okay, that's what this one. Now you even can verify of this note also the same whatever that I have explained verbally. This is the one. Okay. Now next. Yeah, if you are using of new operator means always it is going to create object in the heap area. Okay. And in the heap area there may be a chance of two objects with same content, but that is not possible in case of a string constant pool. That already I have explained. Okay, next, even constructors also. Okay, so if you are creating an empty string object, string is equal to new string, then in that case, it will create of empty without any content. One dummy object string, simply empty object will be created. Okay, that is one way. So for that, if you want, you can use of some concat method, and then we can do that. Okay, depends on some requirements. Okay, now let's say there is a one more way of creating string object is string new string of a string literal. So just now till now we are discussing, right? So it is of 1 second, let me, yeah. Yeah, if you are creating an object like this, new string with string literal. So in this case also by using like this also we can create a string object. Okay, and one more way is there is a one more way. So we can create a string buffer object. Okay, and that string buffer object we can assign to string buffer object. We can assign to string class even with this also. Okay, let's assume as part of our requirement we got of in our implementation we got a string buffer object, okay, that you want to convert to string, then in that case simply we can keep that string buffer object in string class constructor, then automatically the string buffer object will be converted to string class object. Okay, now, in the same way, so let's say I have some sequence of characters is there. So string is nothing but also a sequence of characters, right? Let's say I have some character array. Character array. Let's say I have some characters, character by character. I want to combine of all these characters. Then I can pass that character array to string class constructor which accepts of character array. Then it will convert all that characters combined into a single string that is called Java. So that also our separate constructor is there to convert a character array into char string. Okay, and there is a one more way is also there. So normally the numbers, Unicode numbers are there. Okay, so to convert that Unicode numbers to characters, we can use of byte array also. In this case, whatever the values that internal Unicode representation, it will convert that into characters. Okay, that's what this one. Up to that yesterday that we have discussed. Let's repeat it. So the up to that we have discussed. So is there any doubt, guys, before moving to the methods of important methods that of string class? It is of day-to-day life. Mostly we'll use these methods. Okay, even in case of interview point as well as in case of our real-time programming also we'll use these methods. Okay. So shall I start off the important method, guys? Do you have any doubt until till now of yesterday's class repetition? Yeah, which one? Replace that anyhow the method is there, right? I will today's class that will discuss in this method. In between is there. Okay. As part of that is one of the method. Okay. That we'll discuss now in the string class. Now let's start the methods. Important methods. There are a lot of methods that are available in string class. Now let's go and open one string class. Control. Oh, there are lot of methods that are available. See, string with array, string character, array, comma int, like that. There are lot of methods that are available. Now let's see length method, empty method, caret method, so coded point. So like that there are a lot of methods that are there. So we'll use of some most important methods. most important methods that we'll use and then we'll test it. Okay, see, there are a lot of methods is there. Now let's start off, create a class, string method test, method test. Okay, now we'll take one sample, any string. Okay, and then we'll play around that string. Okay, yes equal to, string is equal to, uh, else you can create a new string anyway, ibc, mm, techno solutions, okay, just as I have created of one string. Okay, one string object that I have created. Okay, and we'll use of some concat method also before, directly even we can do like this also. Okay, so let's I have created one string object with IBC Techno. Okay. On top of this, there are the first we will check off one method is that is called as a concat method. Okay. Yes dot concat of, there is a method called, say, concat of string. You want to combine other string with the current whatever the string that is there. So okay. Solutions. So L U T I solutions. Okay. Now so it will create a new object that we need to store in different object, or with the same we can override with the same object. Then in this case only it will override that value and then it will going to refer a new object. Okay. Now if you are printing of this one system.out.println of yes. Okay. Now let's see. It will print off IBC with the Techno Solutions. IBC Techno Solutions. So it is going to create a new string object. That new object we are referring with yes. The existing object with IBC Techno is deleting. It will delete. It will have no active reference for that object. Okay. So even we can do like this, or we have a string with the string literal also is there. Okay. If you are creating an object, if you are creating an object string S1 equal to string S1 equal to IBC Techno. Okay, IBC Techno with the same message. Okay, now in this case, we can do of like we can do a S1 equal to S1 plus S1. Even we can use concat method with character name, or with can use of plus symbol also. This facility is there only for string class only, but not for any other class. It is not, this facility is only for a string class, but not for any other class in Java. This facility is only for string class. See, IBC solutions. Okay, both are giving same. Okay, now the concat or plus symbol is clear now. So what I am doing now, so I want to find some characters in some position. Okay, so to what is the, I want to know the length of, I want to know the length of, I want to know the length of yes. Okay, now what is the length, how to know the length of you guys? There is a method called length method. Yes. System.out.println of yes means the first one. Okay. Yes dot length method. Okay. Length with parentheses there means that is called length method. It is going to return, if you want to find length method, if it is a greater than 0 means then only there is some string is there. Right or not? Right, sometimes we'll get off empty string also, sometimes we'll get off empty string also, sometimes we'll get string as null. So to avoid some scenarios, we'll check the length. Let's say for suppose string s2 equal to empty, just assume empty string object is created. So what is the length of the s2? What is the length of s2? What is the length, guys? Guys, are you able to hear me? What is the length of s2? Do you have any characters inside this in double quotes? String is nothing but sequence of characters, right? So it doesn't within double quotes. So in the double quotes, we don't have any characters. So then in that case, the length is 0, right? Length is 0, right? If any characters is there, if any characters is there, then only it will check the length, right? 1, 2, 3. Length is 3 will come, right? If there is no characters in between in the double quotes, it will give us 0, the length, right? So let's say for suppose, I want to know the what is the character at fifth position or third position or fourth position. I want to know the only special character at that position only. Okay, I want to know the in third position what is the character, in fourth position what is the character. Then in that case, there is a method called there is a method called char at. Char at. Character at that position. Char at index. Which index character you want to know? Just assume I want to give off know of what is the character at fifth position. Character at fifth position. Now let's see that. What is the character at fifth position? It is giving as C. Now let's see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 means it is C, right? Correct or not? If I want to know the character at the zeroth position, so the starting point is 0, guys. Okay? Identifying the characters, starting point is 0. So zeroth position it is having I value. Okay? At fifth position it is having. Okay? At fifth position it is having what is the value? Character, specified character, specific character at that position is C. If I am giving as 10, if I am giving as 10, do you have any character in the 10th position? What is the total length of our string? What is the total length of our string? 9. If do you have any character in the 10th position? Do you have that length first? No, right? So that means that it is out of bound, right? Right or not? So in this case, it will give an exception like string index out of bound exception. Whatever the string that you are given, inside that the index 10 is not there. Index 10 is not available. The range is 9 only. The length of the string is 9 itself, 9 only. But you are trying to get character at 10th position. That is not possible. That time it is going to throw an exception like string index out of bound exception. Okay, is it clear? It will say in which line also it is throwing the exception. See, it is clearly saying line number 17 is throwing an exception, trying to get off character position at 10th. See, string index out of range 10. Okay, it is out of range. The string s2 itself is containing of 9 length. You are trying to get off 10. Okay, it is of out of range. So is it clear this one? Right? Carrot is clear the method, right? Now, next move to one more method. We'll go off. We'll go for dot equals method that already we have discussed. Do you want me to check that one again? Dot equals method. Let's say IBC S is one val, right? System dot out dot println enough. Okay. S dot equals of S1. So what it is going to return, guys? What it will return? Let it return true or false. Having S is IBC Techno and concat of solutions. Now S1 is IBC solutions. Even S1 is also IBC Techno and S1 equal to S1 plus solutions. Now let's see. It will check off content. It will check the content comparison. What is giving? True. Let's say for example, if I am adding one more yes here, one more yes, then it is going to return false. Both are different, right? By this time, you got some clarity. So whenever you are using dot equals method, it will check the content of the object. Okay, here even even case also, even case also. Let's see that. What it is giving, even it is case sensitive. Solutions both is there. Last yes in this case is small, in this case it is yes. Even it is small, case sensitive also. Okay, even it is case sensitive also. Now see that equals method. So to perform content comparison where case is important, so this overridden version of equals method is used. It is suitable for that to check off content comparison. Now, so if you don't want to check the equality of case sensitive or case, we can ignore the case sensitive. Okay, ignore case sensitive. Then in that case, let's see, S1 is having small s, S is having small s, S1 is having capital S. Now in that case, system dot out dot println of s dot equal ignore case of equal case equal ignore case of S1. Then in this case, here is small letter, here is capital letter. It will ignore the case sensitives. Okay. Then it will give off true value. It is giving. If you don't want to check the case sensitive, then you can use of equal ignore case. Okay. Next, the next point is next you can check off equals ignore case. So to perform case ignore case of content comparison, then we can use of case equals ignore case method. We can use equals ignore case. We can use. So in general, we can use equal ignore case to validate the usernames where case is not important, but we can use equals method to validate passwords where case is important. Okay. Now, next is a substring method. Next is a substring method. Now, what is there in my current S1 object is of contains okay, S1 object is contains of yes dot s dot. I want to know the S1 is contains or yes, or else let's take off S1 also fine. So what is the S1 is IBC solutions, right? I want to know. I want to know only substring, only solutions I want to know, only techno I want to know, or techno solutions I want to know, like that. I want only substring. Part of string is required, not full string. I want to know only part of string. Then in that case, we have a method called substring method. Substring method. Sub STR. We have two methods. Okay. Substring of only begin index, substring of only begin index and end index. If you are taking first method, only one parameter with substring of begin index. Okay. Then from that starting point, let's just assume 4. Okay. Just assume 4. Then in that case, from fourth character to till end of the string, it will print it till the starting point is fourth position, 0 1 2 3 after 4. So from that till end, I want see, if I'm giving 3. If I'm giving 3, IBC is removing and techno only substring is coming. Techno, techno solutions only coming. Right or not? IBC is not coming. If you are using substring. So let's say if I want to get off substring with starting index and ending index, in between only I want. Out of 100 character, I want 50 character to 60 character only I want. Just assume. Okay. Then in that case, we need of two indexes, starting index as well as ending index. Both is required. Let's say s1 dot substring of substring of begin index and end index, right? So now I'm giving as 3. Okay, 3 and let's say 0 1 2 3 starting. Okay, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and give as 10. Okay, give as 10. Now let's see what all things it will come. It is coming as techno, yes. If I am giving 9, if I am giving 9, let's see, we'll get only techno. We'll get a only techno is coming, right or not? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, up to 9 is coming. So in between these characters only it will display. Okay, it won't take more than that. If you want to get up the substring between starting index and ending index, then in that case we can go off substring with starting index and ending index, or if you want all, then you can go for begin index only till end of the string. See, this what the fifth methods, two methods, substring with int begin index and substring with int begin and end, both will added. It will return off some substring of the total string. Next, okay, the next method is already we have seen of length method, right or not? Already we have seen length method, right? Correct. Length method already we know that, right? So to know the length of the characters, to know the length of the string, to know the length of the string, or to know the number of characters present in the string, to know the number of characters present in a string also will use length method. Both the cases, it is a length method means string length or number of characters. Both are same, right? So for that purpose, we'll use of length method. Okay, length method is already we have defined, already we discussed that. So is it clear or not, guys? The length method. Yeah. Now I'm going to replace method. I'm going to replace method. Let's say I have some string is there. What is my string? Let's say remove of solutions, this one for testing purpose. It is causing 3 to 6, 3 to keep it 9. So it won't give up any error, I'm thinking. Yeah, no error. Now there is a one more method called replace method. Replace method. So what is my, so S1 is contains S1 or S2, both are containing techno, right? S1 or S2 both are containing of techno. Let's leave it. Then keep here. Now yes, one. I want to know the. I want to replace some of the characters. IBC techno is there, right? Instead of techno, I want to use some T. I want to replace with some other character. Okay, or I C. I want to replace with Z. Okay, let's replace of system dot out dot println. I want to print that also. Yes, one dot. Yes, one dot replace. And that replace. See, so we have a replace of multiple methods is there. Okay, you can ignore of all those things. Mostly we'll use of this one. Okay, or let's take one. What is the old character that you want to replace? What is the old character that you want to replace it? So let's say I want to replace my C with capital, C with old character, C with some different. Okay, now character C with some IBC or capital IBD, just assume IBM Techno. Okay, or else keep as IBM. Okay, replace that with IBM. Now let's see what it is going to print. It is printed of IBM Techno, right or not? Before it is of IBC Techno. Now it is replaced with C with M. It is a old character in the current string. So it is the new character which you want to replace. Okay. Now you people might have, so the replace is used to any character in any position. Okay. In the current string, we can use of a replace character. We can use of a replace method. Is it clear this one, guy? I think someone asked about. Go ahead. Yes, yes, go ahead, go ahead. You want to repeat a word or character? Yes, only character. That's what it is. The method, right? Let's say S1 dot replace of see the character. It is of character only. The method is say accepting only character, not the word. See character only single character, any single character. Yes, that's what this method is accepting. There is a sequence. Char sequence also is there. Okay, that is different. S- What is? Then it will replace both. Let's see, na. Let's try that. Let's try that case also, right? Whether it is replacing two or single. It is replacing two or single. See, it is the last one. See, here also see, it is there, and here also C was there. See, capital C was there. That also replacing in S1. See, I'm using of S1 dot replace of capital C with M. It is replacing in both the places, right or not? Yes, correct. You mean particular position? So for that, replace first is there. Replace first, there is some regular expression that we need to write. If you want to replace only one place, replace only in the first place. Okay, some regular expression we need to write it. So you maybe you are telling of only instead of this first position you want to replace of second position, right? That's what you are asking. That in that case we need to write our own logic. So wherever it is identifying of second position, our logic we need to write and then replace that. Our own logic we need to write it. Yeah. Now, next. So, in the out of my string, so there are some capital letters is there. There are some small letters is also there. So, you want to convert all that lowercase to lowercase to uppercase or uppercase to lowercase, uppercase to lowercase. Then in that case, we need have a method called. So, if you want to convert all the uppercase to lowercase, if you want convert all uppercase to lowercase, then there is a method called to lowercase. S1 dot to lowercase to lowercase. Then it will convert the string into all lowercase. Whatever the string S1, it will convert into all lower cases. Okay. If you want to convert to uppercase, then all will convert to. So even technos is there, right? Some values. So that also will move to uppercase. If you want, it will move to upper cases. Let's see. See, it is on lowercase. It is of everything is uppercase. Clear on this one, right? So by seeing the method name itself, we will come to know. So you want to convert of all your characters into lowercase. By seeing this, all our characters will be moving to uppercase letters. Okay. Now, in our method, sorry, in our string, there are some spaces. There are some spaces that are available. There are some spaces that are available. You want to remove of those spaces between trail and lead. Okay, both are in the first starting position and in the ending position. Okay, in starting position space is there, ending position space is there, in between also space is there. So the trim method, there is a method called trim method. There is a method called trim method that will trim will sorry both both trailing and leading spaces only, but not between, but not middle of the spaces. It will not remove. Only starting and ending spaces only it will be removed. See, starting and ending spaces only it will be removed, but not in between spaces. Okay, that we can't replace it. Okay, if you want to replace that also, dot replace. Okay, old character is just give as space. Okay, and replace with double quotes. Okay, then it will replace even that also. It will replace even, see, last point. It will replace space also in between also if you want to replace that. But normally trim method will remove only the starting and ending spaces. For the string it will be removed by using trim method. Okay, that's what the trim method. Let's go on. Yeah, so to remove blank spaces present in the beginning and end of the string, but not in middle blank spaces. Okay, only in starting and ending spaces only. Okay, now next method is if you want to know the if you want to know the some some character position, I want to know the position of a specific character. Okay, now system dot out dot println of s1 dot index of in which index my specified character is available. My specified character is available. Capital T I am going to use, just assume of capital T. So, what is the position of capital T index? What is the position of capital T? Now, let's see that. So, what it is saying? Fifth position. It is saying fifth position. How it is fifth position? One space is there. One, two, three, four, five. It will count space also. Is a character. Okay. Space is also a character, guys. Okay. Now let's remove that and see that. In this case, it is going to give off 3. Yes, by seeing you will come to know it is counting of space also. Okay, from this you should understood that. So now there is a method called lost index also. There is a method called lost index also. System dot out dot println of s1 dot lost index of lost index. So C came 2 times, correct or not? IBC Techno. So C came 2 times. I want to know the last occurrence of C character. Okay, normally 0, 1, 2 is there, right? So normally first position means it is giving of last index of right. So let's see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right. It's giving a fifth position. If I'm giving as index of means by default it will take off first index of only. By default it will take off first index of C is it is going to give as 2, 0, 1, 2. Okay, so is it clear, guys, or not? Right, now we are moving to now we are moving to the other methods. Let's see, is there any other methods that is there now. Index of last index of, so note because of runtime operation if there is any change in the content then with those changes the new object will be created on heap. There is no change, the content of existing object will be created. No issue, this is known thing. This two uppercase and two lowercase also we have verified, we have seen that. Just we are checking of the objects. It is created one S1 object with IBC and I am converting S2 dot 2 lowercase. It will convert into lowercase, small IBC. And again I am converting into S1 dot 2 uppercase. Then in this case, already it is uppercase, S1 is, right? Then there is no point of, it will not convert. It will use the existing reference only. Now let's see if you want. Plus, plus string uppercase test. string uppercase test. Now I've created a one string object with IPC. S2 is also converting some small, bigger case to uppercase to smaller cases. And again I am converting S1, it is already in uppercase. There is no point of calling this one. So in this case it won't, if there is no change in the content, it won't create any new object. So existing object only it will point that. Then in this case, this will give as different. The S1 equal to S3 means it will give as true because both are pointing to same. S1 equal to S3 means both are uppercase only. Even if you are not, if you are calling or not calling also, okay, S3 is already uppercase letter because S1 is already having upper. So that we are assigning to S3. So it will use of same reference. There is no change in that. Okay. Now next. Yeah. Now, next is immutability. Next is immutability means already we have seen, right? Already we have created already what is meant by immutability. If you are creating of any class, if we are creating of any class, if you are trying, sorry, if you are creating string class object and then trying to modify of that string object, it is going to create of new string object instead of modifying the existing one. How can we create our own immutability class, our own immutability class? Now our own immutability class. Let's create one example. So once we create an object, we can't perform any changes on the object. If you are trying to perform any changes, if there is a change in the content, only change, guys, if there is any change in the content, then with those changes new object will be created. That behavior is called as immutability. If there is no change in the content, then existing object only will be reused. This behavior is nothing but immutability. Now let's take a example. Okay, let's take with some example. Okay, let's take off this program immutable test class immutable. So immutable, I have created one class with one variable as private. So whenever you are creating any immutable class, whenever you are creating any immutable class, compulsory, it must be the private. The variable must be private, and you are creating of some constructor. Okay. So that whatever the value that is there for the private variable, we need to set through constructor only. Okay, and class must be final. Class must be final. And if you are trying to update of this value, if you are trying to update the string value, the name value, string name value, if it is there is no change, this dot name equal to name, then both are same means, then there is no, it won't create of any object. If there is a change in that, then it is going to create of new string class object. It is going to create a new string class object. Just go and refer that class. Test that immutability class. Now let's class immutable test main. Let's copy paste it. Now, so I have created a class immutable test. Okay, immutable test with the string is just assume it is also like a string, guys. Okay, it is also like a string class. Okay, for testing immutable behavior, we created this class. Just assume immutable test is a string. Just assume this class is the right type. Just assume like it is a string. Once we create a string class object with message as techno, okay, then it is one string class object or immutable test class object. Okay. Now, so I'm creating a, I'm trying to update inside inside immutable test class. We have a method. We have a method update method. So I'm giving of capital T. I'm giving of capital T. So with that is going to create of IT1 object. It is modified. It will modify. Now if you want, we'll see that. Okay, that also we'll see. And again, I am doing IT. Techno is the right. With small, I am trying. It is going to create of IT2 object. Okay. Now let's debug and then we'll see. If want, you have any doubt also. Okay. Sorry. Let's call off this one. Yeah. So whenever this one is calling, let's see where exactly it is going to execute of that if block in the update method. See. So if both it is giving off capital T, okay, this dot name is giving off is of small techno, right? So this condition will not satisfy. That is the reason it is going to create of a new immutable test object. Okay. Now come out of that. Again, whenever we are calling of whenever we are calling of this line, okay, in line number 8, in line number 8, then in this case, what is the value of name is coming as small techno. Even this dot value, what it is going to give, this dot value is also giving as a techno. Both are same. That is the reason it is going to go inside if block is going, because it is returning true if block. So the if block will execute. So it is going to return off true. See, true is there. So the if block will execute. If block is returning current class object, whatever that is there, the same object it will return. It is not going to give off any new object. That is what the immutable behavior. So how to create our own immutable class means, so we'll create a class is final and variables is private, and we'll create a one constructor with parameters. So we need to initialize that parameters through constructor and write one update method. Write one update method if any content is modifying the object, then it's to create a new object. Will write a separate method. So this is going to create of either same class object if the content is same. If the content is not same, then it is going to create a new immutable test class object. Okay. Next, so what is the difference between immutability and final? Okay, immutability means if you are trying to modify, if you are trying to modify any object, if you are trying to modify the content of the object, it is going to return, it is going to create a new object. Okay, it is not allowing to modify the current existing class object. Okay, but final is applicable for variables, but not for objects. Both are different context. Okay, final keyword applicable for variables, not for objects. Okay, but not for objects, whereas immutability is applicable for objects. String is a object, right? And immutable test is also object, right? So immutability is applicable for object, final is applicable for variables, but not for immutability is not for variables. By declaring a reference variable as final, by declaring a reference variable as final, then in that case we can modify the content of the object. You can modify the content of the object, but we can't reassign that object. We can't reassign means, let's say, go here. If I'm making if i'm making class final here, I'm making is final here. So for the IT1, for IT1, I can't assign new immutable test of test. This is not possible because IT1 is final. We can't do reassignments. We can't do reassignments. But we can perform. But we can perform of operations. IT1 dot update. IT1 dot update of techno. The content modification is possible. Okay, but we can't reassign that. Okay, but if you variable, let's say int I equal to 100. Okay, if a variable is final, okay, variable is final variable, then variable is final, we can't reassign, we can't alter 200. This is not possible because I is a final variable. The reassignment is not possible. Okay, that's what the difference between final and immutability. Final is for the variables, immutability is for object, class object, for any class objects. That's what the difference I have explained here. Okay, see, if I'm trying to already as final class object is created, string buffer. So the same SB I'm using and assigning of a new string buffer with a different string. This is not possible. Okay, reassignment is not possible. Next, string buffer. String buffer. Okay, string buffer means so what is string buffer is already just we have seen. So if any string, if your string means immutable behavior, string buffer means it is a mutable behavior. If you are trying to modify the content also, it won't create any new object. The existing objects only it will be altered or modified. So if our frequent operation is, if our frequent operation is continuously modifying the string object, continuously we are modifying or updating the string object, then it is not recommended to use of string object. It is recommended to use string buffer object. Okay, now let's read the content. If the content is fixed, then won't change frequently, then it is recommended to go for string, because string is already fixed, no modifications were, then in that case we'll go for string class object. Okay, string. If the content is not fixed, keep on changing, then it is not recommended to use a string, because for every change, a new object will be created, which affects the performance of the system. Let's say you are trying to modify of 1,000 times means, then internally it will impact the performance of the system. It will impact the system performance. So to overcome that issue, we should go for string buffer class. Okay, the main advantage of string buffer over string is all required changes will be performed on existing object only. On single object only we can do any number of times operation, we can modifications. It won't give any impact and it won't perform, it won't create any new object also. Okay, now this is of creating string buffer object. Okay, now whenever we are creating any string buffer object, whenever we are creating any string buffer object, internally it will, there is some capacity is there. Okay, how many number of string buffer, string buffer sb equal to new string buffer of empty. Okay, system dot out dot println of sb dot capacity. So what is mean by capacity means, so 16 it is returning. So this object can store, this object can store 16 characters, 16 characters, append of, just assume, right of 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 10 11 12 3 13 14 15 16. Okay, now up to 16 it is fine, it is giving of length capacity is 16. If I am adding, if I am sb dot append of, sb dot append of one more, if I am adding any one character, any one character also, so the length is it will be increased, length it will be recalculated by the JVM. Okay, how exactly the current capacity plus 1 into 2, it will do some formula. Okay, now system.out.println sb dot capacity. So it till now it is of 16 characters, right? So it is displaying the capacity is 16. Now it is giving up 17 after adding, it is 17. Now the capacity is now capacity is 16 plus 1. 16 plus 1 means 17 into 2. It is going to give off 34. It is going to give off 34. If you are still again, if you are giving something else, then If it is reaching to 34, if it is reaching to 34, yeah. So if you are reaching again, if you are giving already 17 is there. If you are adding some more 17 again, we are adding 17 again. 34 plus 1, 35 into 2. Then it will become 70. System router will tell enough. SB dot capacity. Then it will give as 35 into 34 plus 1 into 2. 35 into 2 is 70. It is giving the capacity, it will increase automatically whenever it is reaching its max capacity. Okay, in this is facility is on string buffer, guys, not for string. Okay, now next is 16 of 34, that is of 70. Okay. Now, the second part is string buffer. I have created here. We created simplest empty string buffer object, right? Right. That times capacity is 16. Okay. If we are creating an object like this, okay, we can create initial capacity also. If I want my initial capacity is 1000, my initial capacity is 1000. Then in this case, I am telling at the time of creating itself, directly I am giving my capacity is 1000. Until that, don't do any modifications, no increases. So instead of giving work to JVM always again and again, I am fixing some initial capacity by default in the initial time. Okay, we have separate constructor for that also. Now there is one more constructor that is called there is one more constructor that is so we can give here as some directly string also, right? We can give string also. Now let's in that case, now by default it is of 16, right? Now if you are adding anything IBC something some value, okay, now it is going to give the length as by default it is 16 plus again I have added string length is 3. It totally it will give as 19. Totally it will give as 19 is the length. 19 is length for SB. Now by default it is 16 plus again I am giving as 3. Both it will as 19. If you are creating an object like this, then if you are creating an object, if you are creating SB dot append of SB dot append of like this, then in this case it will give us 16 again. In this case it will give 16. Okay, if you are creating a string in the constructor itself, then whatever the length that we are giving, that will be added plus 16. Okay, plus 16 it will add the length. See, so string buffer SB equal to new string buffer of string S. Then in this case, create an equivalent string buffer object for the given string with capacity is string dot length plus 16. So both it will combine and then it will return that. Okay, that's what this one. Next is the important methods of string buffer class. Important methods of string buffer class. Okay, length method we know, right? So to know the length of the string, and capacity is also we know. What is the use of capacity? To what is the current capacity it is there, and what is the formula that will be used, that we have just now discussed. Okay, current capacity plus 1 into 2, the formula it will follow. Okay, it will follow of the formula is like, so new capacity is current capacity plus 1 into 2. This is the formula that will be used whenever it is reaching the capacity. Okay, now next. Now we will see one more is the caret is already we have discussed in string class, that is same as here also. Okay, now there is a method called set caret. You want to set some character in some specified position in some index in the specified position. If you want to set some value, okay, then we have a method called set caret. Set caret method is available. Now let's see, I've created one string class object with like this. Okay, now let's in the third place, it is going to create of replacing that. See, set caret, whatever that is a 0 1 2 3, the third character it will be replacing with capital T. It is setting with the new character whatever that we are setting. Okay, that is of set caret position. Okay, next, so till now we are using of append method. See, right? So append method that we are using to add of string to the string buffer object. Like that, we can use of or string or int or char or long or float or double. There are overloaded methods that are available here. So we can use depends on our requirement. If you want to append of string, we can append string. If you want long character, like that, whichever the type you want to use for each specific type, for each primitive value, they're given as a separate method, separate append method in the string buffer class. Okay, see, if you want, take one example again. Okay, replace this, comment it, and so I created one string buffer class object with the techno, right? So for this, I am appending of integer and double number, character and boolean also. So all type of for each for each primitive type, there is a separate append method is there, so that we can call and we can set it. Now let's see, all will be appended to that. See, after techno 5 is there added, 8.5 is added, a is also added, true is also added. So it will append whatever the value that we are giving to that string buffer object, just it will append at the end. Okay, that's what this one. So if you want to insert if you want to insert any value, if you want to insert at any particular index, either string or boolean or float or double or a char or whatever that you want, so we can insert at a particular position, at that particular position in the string. So in that case also we'll use of insert. There are some overloaded methods for all. There are overloaded methods for each primitive type. For boolean is there, int is there, float is there, long is there. For all it is having specific method is there, specific method. Now let's comment this. Okay, sb dot sb dot insert of so offset that which you want to use. Let's say offset, just assume 2. Okay, and give the string what you want, just as ibc, just simply assume. Now at that position, whatever the position that is at 2, that ibc will be insert. See, 0 1 2, in the second position ibc value is inserted. Okay, and the rest of the will be moved out. Okay, it will move out in at that position, it will add ibc, and the rest of the characters will be added at the end of the new string. Okay, that is for even we can use of either string or boolean or int or double, whatever that we can use here instead of this. Let's after this, what is the second position again? What is the second position again? Just assume true. I am giving true. What is the second position? Already it is 0 1 2 is there. So after ibc, after I, it will add off true. See, after tec, it is of 0 0 1 2, right? 0 1 2, yeah, 2 position means it will add off ibc. Just assume 3 means, then after I it will add it. Okay, after I it will add that. See, t e I 0 1 2, after 3 true will add. Okay, So at like that, we can insert of any data type. For each primitive, there is a separate overloaded methods are there. Okay, in string buffer class. Okay, if you want to delete between start index and end index. Okay, you want to delete of between these two characters, between these two index. If you want to delete of characters, then let's delete that also. System.out.println sb dot delete at starting index. Deleted specific index is there, deleted start and end both is also there. Okay, now I'm giving of 3 to 8. I'm giving 3 to 8. I'm giving it is deleting of in between that characters, it is deleted. Okay, in between that characters, those are deleted. 3, 4, 5, 6. If you are giving up to 6, just try. Whatever the value that we are inserted, true, it is deleted, right? And end index will be so 3, 4, 5. Okay, now this is end index will be ignored, guys. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3. It will start from T, small t, okay? 4, 5, 6. Okay? The end index will be ignored. Okay? End index will be ignored for giving 7. So that is what the rule. Let's say if you want, you can read it also. So removes the character, the substring in the sequence, the substring begin in the specific start index and extends to the character at the index up to -1 and equal to no changes are made if start is equal. So I have read that. So the end index will be, you can read the content here if you want, and if you Google the, if you do some Java documents we are reading also, you will come to know that if you are any doubt is there, you can read the documentation method for documentation for this method. Okay. Now, so deleted specific. Yeah, go ahead. Someone is asking. If you want, yeah, this is the method. Starting index and ending index. Go if you want to dig, you can dig off more that. Ending index will be ignored. So end index -1 only it will take it. Okay, -1 only it will take. 1 second. Yeah. Now let's go to the deleted character at position. If you want the fifth position character, I want to delete, then we can use of delete caret. Okay. And if you want to reverse of any string, then there is a method called reverse method. There is a method called reverse method. So yesterday one guy was asked this question. So how to reverse of string? So there is a method in the string buffer to reverse the string value, string buffer object. But in case of string, this method is not there. Okay? And there is a method called length method. So you are setting up some length. You are setting up length method. Out of all these things, out of all these things, there is a method called, let's say, what is the length of right now? Let's comment it. Now the length of this one is, let's comment this also. Confusion. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something is there. Some 6 characters is there. Okay, 0 to 5. So I want to keep the length is only 3. Okay. SB dot length or set length. Set length is only 4 I am keeping. So if I am keeping length 4, system.out.println, then the rest of the character will be removed. It will not keep that. Only with 4 characters only it will keep the length. If you want to set the length of the character with a string buffer, then even we can do that also by using set length method. Ensure capacity. So even At the time of initial time also we can give capacity, or in between also we can give. There is a method called ensure capacity. So that is increasing to up to 1000. Okay. Instead of doing multiple times in between by the JVM, so we can give in between also by using ensure capacity. We can increase the capacity up to 1000 or whatever you want. Okay. Trim to size. There is trim to size. So trim to size means whatever the value, whatever the characters that we have, whatever the characters that we have in the method, up to that only you want to find the length. Up to that only you want to give the capacity. Then in that case there is a method called trim to size. Whatever the size is that is there, the length, up to that only keep the capacity. Rest of them is trim it or remove it. Okay. Now let's see. Let's SB dot. Let's comment this part. SB dot ensure capacity equal to 1000. Okay. If I'm giving now, if I'm printing system dot out dot println of SB dot capacity equal to, it is going to give off 1000. Okay. It is going to give off 1000. So after this line, system dot out dot println of SB dot trim ensure trim to size. So whatever the size of the string, up to that only keep the capacity. Rest of them leave it. Rest of them leave it. Then in that case, next system dot out dot println of SB. Okay. Now let's print it. SB dot capacity. So after that, the line number 41, it is going to give up whatever the size that is there, up to that only it will take that capacity. Okay. If you want to increase the capacity, or if you want to trim the capacity up to whatever the size that is there in the string buffer, we can have other multiple methods is there based on our requirement. We can increase or we can trim. Both is options are there. This is what string buffer, guys. Is it clear up to now? Before moving to string buffer, string builder, you people need to practice, guys. So all these are methods. Okay, just you need to copy paste this and then you can do some R and D, whatever you want to do, you can do that. You can play around it. Okay. Okay, guys. String builder is there, that I'll explain tomorrow's class, and then we'll go for the next concept again once it is finished. Okay. That's what for today's class, guys. We'll meet tomorrow. I'll share the document. Then please go through that and then come for tomorrow. Yeah. Thank you.